welcome to the deep dive.
Oh,
We're always hearing about AI and all its potential, right?
right.
Well, today we're going to deep dive into something that's making it easier to build those AI systems,
Okay.
especially when it comes to RL, or reinforcement learning.
RL is starting to really influence our lives, even if we don't realize it.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, we got self-driving cars, right?
Yeah.
We got all those personalized recommendations online.
Yeah.
And scientists are even using RL to figure out how we make decisions as humans.
It's true.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's all about these agents learning through trial and error,
Yeah,
just like we do as people.
like we do.
But the real challenge is
Yeah,
how to optimize them,
right.
how to get them to perform the best that they can.
Yeah, because there's so many different factors going on, right?
There's so many.
You got the agent, you got the environment, you got the policy it's following.
Yeah.
It can get pretty complicated.
Yeah, it's incredibly complex.
I think for our listener, we should probably back up for a sec.
Okay.
When you say policy, what does that really mean? Like when we're talking about RL?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You can think of it as like the brain of the agent.
Okay.
It's basically the set of rules that determine how the agent is going to pick which actions to take
Okay.
based on what it sees.
Gotcha.
So, for example, if our agent was like a self-driving car,
Okay.
the policy would be what tells it how to react to things like traffic lights, pedestrians, other cars, that sort of thing.
Okay, so fine-tuning that policy, that's where it gets kind of tricky, right?
Exactly, and that's where this deep dive comes in.
Okay.
We're looking at a platform called AGENTFORGE.
Okay.
And it's meant to really simplify and streamline the whole process of building and optimizing these RL agents.
Now, AgentForge is trying to make all this easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially for people who aren't like master coders. It's being described as a low-code platform. So what does that actually mean when we're talking about actually using this thing?
It means instead of writing tons and tons of lines of code,
Yeah.
you can just define the problem you want to solve and what parameters you want to optimize with just a few lines of code.
Wow.
It's like a virtual workshop where you can build this intelligent agent using pre-built tools and components.
So it's kind of like building with Legos instead of having to like carve it out of wood yourself.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And to help you find the best settings for your agent board, AgentForge has these really powerful optimization algorithms built in.
Okay.
They're like super smart assistants to help you navigate all those parameters.
Yeah, because there's a few different ones they mentioned in the research, right?
Yeah.
Like random search, base opt, PSO.
You got it.
Yeah.
And each algorithm has its own way of looking for that optimal solution.
Right.
So imagine you're trying to find the highest peak in a huge mountain range.
Okay.
Random search would be like dropping you off at random spots and just seeing how high up you are.
Okay, so just total chance.
Yeah.
So probably not the most efficient way to do it.
You're right. It might work if you're lucky,
Right.
but it's probably going to take a while.
Yeah, probably.
Now, base opt is a bit more strategic.
Okay.
It's like a detective who gathers clues from every spot you go to
All right.
slowly narrow down the search to like the areas that are the most promising.
So a little more methodical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you've got PSO,
Okay.
or particle swarm optimization.
Right. What is that one?
Picture a flock of birds trying to find like the best place to eat.
Okay.
Each bird goes off, explores, shares info with the whole flock,
Okay.
and gradually they all come together on that best spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's cool.
But could those birds like get distracted by something shiny and miss the actual best spot?
It's possible.
Yeah.
PSO is good for exploring a lot of possibilities really fast,
Okay.
but it might not find the absolute best solution, especially if the situation is really complex.
Gotcha. So AgentForge is kind of letting you pick and choose the best tool for the job.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. AgentForge doesn't just change individual parameters.
Okay.
It can optimize the whole architecture of your agent's neural network.
Whoa, that sounds way more complicated.
It's a bit more involved.
Yeah.
Think about trying to make a race car go faster.
Okay.
You could change little things like the tires or the suspension,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need to redesign the whole engine to really see a big improvement.
Oh, okay.
AgentForge lets you do something kind of like that with your AI agent's neural network.
Gotcha. So it's giving you a bunch of tools.
Yeah,
But how do we know if it actually works?
good question.
Did they actually test this thing?
They did. They used a classic RL problem called the Lunar Lander.
Okay, tell me about this one.
So picture a spaceship trying to land on the moon,
Okay.
but it can only use what it sees.
Oh,
Like how we use our eyes to navigate. No fancy instruments, no GPS, just a camera.
So just the camera and hoping the AI does its job.
Pretty much.
Okay, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
So what did they actually test?
Well, they wanted to see if AgentForge could optimize this landing process.
Okay.
So they tested all kinds of parameters.
Okay.
Some related to the agent itself, like
Okay.
how much it values future rewards.
Okay.
That's called the discount factor.
Right.
Others focused on the environment,
Okay.
like how wide the spaceship can see.
Okay.
And then, of course, they looked at the policy,
Okay.
the structure of the neural network controlling the spaceship's actions.
So they really put this thing through its paces.
They did.
Show what happened.
The results were pretty impressive.
Okay. Tell me.
Remember Bayesian, our detective algorithm?
Yeah, the methodical one?
Yeah, well, it aced the test.
Okay.
Guided the Lunar Lander to an average reward of 172.43.
Okay, that sounds high.
It is.
But what does that actually mean?
Well, the higher the reward, the smoother and more efficient the landing.
Okay.
So 172.43 means that spaceship basically nailed it.
Okay, so base hop takes the gold.
Yeah.
But what about PSO?
Uh-huh.
Our bird flock one, right?
Right.
Didn't you say it was really fast?
I did. And this is where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
Even though Bayesian found the best solution overall,
Okay.
PSO did get there faster.
Interesting.
So it got close to a good solution really quickly,
Okay.
even if it wasn't the absolute best one.
So it's like a trade-off then.
Yeah, you could say that.
Like if you need something quick, PSO might be the way to go.
Uh-huh.
But base hop did get you the best answer eventually.
Right.
Okay.
Different algorithms have different strengths.
Yes.
And that's what's great about AgentForge.
Okay.
It lets you pick what works best for you.
Yeah. Now, all this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But how does this connect back to me and like all the stuff I'm interested in, or maybe my job?
Well, that's where things get really exciting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine using AgentForge to make personalized learning tools or even AI assistants to help us design technologies that are more accessible
Yeah.
and more user-friendly.
Okay, before we jump ahead to all that,
Yeah.
we got to talk about that other thing you mentioned,
What's that?
optimizing that neural network architecture.
Right.
Did they actually use that in the Lunar Lander example?
They did.
Okay.
And while it wasn't super important in that specific example,
Okay.
they found that it has huge potential for other applications
Correct.
where fine-tuning the AI's brain, so to speak, is really important.
Okay, so this AgentForge thing is giving us a glimpse into the future of how we're going to be building AI.
You could say that.
But I think we should probably take a break.
Okay.
Let our listeners kind of digest all this information.
Sure.
And when we come back, we'll talk about all the ways AgentForge could be used out there
Yeah.
in the real world and how it might be changing the future of these intelligent systems. So stay with us.
Sounds good.
You know, when we were talking about all those algorithms,
Yeah.
it made me think about something.
Okay, what's that?
If AgentForge is making it this easy to build these, really sophisticated AI agents,
Right.
shouldn't we also be thinking about all the computing power we're going to need?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Training these RL agents, especially the ones with those complex neural networks,
Yeah.
it can take a lot of processing power and a lot of time.
So it's not like I could just build some cutting-edge AI on my laptop overnight.
Not unless you have a supercomputer at home.
Okay, good to know.
That's actually one of the things the researchers are working on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they want to make AgentForge more efficient.
Okay.
But it's a tough balance
I
between
dig.
power and, keeping it practical.
Yeah, you want it to be powerful enough to do the complex stuff.
Right.
But you also want, regular people to be able to use it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that accessibility is really key for AgentForge. It's all about making AI development easier for researchers, developers, even people who don't know much about coding.
Speaking of which, you said AgentForge has a low-code interface.
I did.
What does that actually look like?
So imagine a visual interface
Okay.
where you can just drag and drop different components to build your agent,
Okay.
kind of like building with blocks.
Okay.
You have modules for things like defining the environment,
Yeah.
setting the agent's goals,
Okay.
picking which optimization algorithm you want.
So instead of writing code, I'm like arranging these visual pieces.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
And AgentForge handles all the code for you.
Wow.
It's designed to be super intuitive,
Okay.
even for beginners.
So AgentForge is powerful, it's efficient, it's easy to use.
Right.
But there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay, sure.
We talked a lot about how these AIs make decisions,
Uh-huh.
but shouldn't we be able to understand why they're making those choices?
You're hitting on a really important point. Explainability is so crucial in AI.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about things like healthcare or finances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to understand how the AI is coming up with its recommendations.
Right. Imagine an AI helping doctors diagnose patients.
Right.
You'd want to know what it's looking at, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
You don't want a black box making these big decisions.
In my click.
And that's something they're actively working on with AgentForge.
Okay, good.
Trying to make the decision-making process more transparent, easier to understand.
So it's not just about building AI that works.
Right.
It's about building AI that we can trust.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where things get really interesting.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
As we build more and more complex AI, we need to think about how they fit into society. How do we use them responsibly, ethically, in a way that benefits everyone?
Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over all the features of AgentForge, let's talk about how we might actually use it out in the world.
Sure.
Remember you talked about personalized learning earlier. Can you give us an example of how that might work with AgentForge?
Imagine every student having their own AI tutor.
Okay.
One that adapts to their learning style.
Wow.
And their pace.
That would be incredible.
This tutor would be powered by AgentForge.
Okay.
Constantly analyzing how the student is doing and adjusting how it teaches.
So instead of teaching everyone the same way, it's like a custom curriculum for each student.
Exactly. One that changes as the student learns. The AI could see where they're struggling, give them specific feedback, even suggest extra resources.
It sounds straight out of science fiction.
It does, but with AgentForge, it might actually be possible.
It's amazing.
And this is just one example.
Yeah, what else?
Think about healthcare.
Okay, how would it work there?
Imagine AI virtual assistants that help patients manage chronic conditions, like diabetes or heart disease. They could look at the patient's health data, give them advice on lifestyle changes, even remind them to take their meds.
So it's like a 247 health coach.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's really cool.
And these assistants would be learning all the time, adapting to the patient's needs.
Wow, that's really personalized care.
It is.
It sounds like AgentForge could really change how we approach healthcare.
It could.
It gives patients more control over their own health.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
And the potential goes even further.
Really? Tell me more.
Think about design and accessibility.
Now, that's something I'm really interested in.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Tell me how AgentForge could make tech more inclusive.
Imagine websites and apps that adapt to each user. Like for someone with vision problems, it could make the text bigger, the colors more contrasting.
Wow.
Or for someone new to technology, the interface could be simpler with step-by-step instructions.
So it's like the website is changing itself to fit your needs.
Exactly. It makes the online world accessible to everyone.
That's incredible.
And think about assistive technologies.
Yeah.
We could have devices that learn and adapt to help people with disabilities.
That's a game changer.
It is.
Not just for the people building AI, but for everyone using technology.
Exactly.
It's really exciting to think about all the ways it could be used.
It is.
AgentForge is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
It really is.
But I think we should probably take a little break here.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive into AgentForge.
Sounds good.
With some final thoughts about the future of these intelligent systems.
All right.
So stick with us. We've been talking a lot about AgentForge and what it can do.
Yeah.
And I keep coming back to this idea of making AI development, easier for everyone.
Right. Democratizing AI.
Exactly. It seems like AgentForge is really lowering the bar.
It is.
So more people can get involved. What do you think that means for the future?
Well, it's a huge change.
Yeah.
When you make AI development easier.
Yeah.
You open up so many possibilities.
Right.
Imagine a world where anyone can use AI to build things.
Yeah.
Solve problems. Express themselves.
Yeah. It's like we're giving everyone the power to create with AI.
Exactly. Not just use what other people have built.
That's really exciting.
It is.
But are there any downsides to this?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like any powerful tool, there's always the risk of misuse.
Right.
We need to think about the ethical side of things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How do we make sure people use these tools responsibly?
So it's not enough to just give people the tools.
Right.
We need to think about the bigger picture.
We do.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, we need to talk about these challenges openly.
Right.
Things like data privacy,
yeah,
bias and algorithms,
right,
the impact of AI on jobs and society as a whole.
It's a lot to consider.
It is.
But I think these conversations are important.
They are.
If we want to make sure AI is used for good.
Absolutely.
So AgentForge is more than just a cool new technology.
Yeah.
It's making us think about the future we want to build.
It is. It's a tool.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's up to us how we use it.
I like that.
We need to be thoughtful, responsible,
Right.
and make sure AI benefits everyone.
Okay, so what can we actually DO to make sure AI is used ethically?
Well, researchers need to be transparent.
All right, what does that mean?
Share their work openly.
Okay.
Explain how their algorithms work.
Gotcha.
Be honest about any limitations or biases.
Okay, transparency is important.
It is.
What about developers?
Developers need to build systems that are safe and fair.
Okay.
Think about the data they're using.
Yeah.
Test for bias. Design systems that are accountable.
Okay, so everyone involved has a responsibility here.
Exactly.
What about policymakers?
They need to create rules and regulations that encourage innovation,
Yeah.
but also protect the public.
Right, it's a balancing act.
It is.
So what about me?
Use.
Yeah, what can I do as just a regular person?
Well, stay informed.
Okay, how?
Read articles.
Okay.
Listen to podcasts.
Like this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Talk to people about AI.
Yeah.
The more we understand,
Yeah.
the better choices we can make.
Okay, so being informed is key.
It is.
Anything else?
Contact your elected officials.
Okay.
Let them know how you feel about AI.
Gotcha.
Support organizations working on ethical AI.
Okay.
Choose companies that are using AI responsibly.
So we can all make a difference.
We can.
I like that.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
There are challenges, but the potential is huge.
I agree.
If we work together,
Yeah.
we can use AI to make the world a better place.
That's a great message to end on.
I think so.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into AgentForge.
It has.
We've learned about the technology, possibilities, and the ethical questions we need to be asking. I hope you've all enjoyed it.
Me too.
And maybe even feel inspired to explore AgentForge yourselves.
You never know what you might create.
That's right. The future of AI is in our hands.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep learning.
And keep exploring.
Exactly.